Basketball fans, welcome back. I know it's been a while. It's been about a week since we congregated here on this platform, and for good reason. So I was busy focusing on creating shorts for the FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers window 3 that came to a close about a week ago, and I decided to take like a break as I compile a few videos here of some good things that we might have missed. But all in all, there are videos that I'm going to be releasing, giving a recap on what really happened on those games and the teams that qualified. So a total of 16 teams have qualified. Unfortunately, my country, Kenya, did not qualify. And the last video that I released talking about, anything basketball was talking about the Kenya Morans' dismal performance. And I released two video. It was a two-part series, which I'm seeing there are a lot of people who are interacting with them. But in this one, it will be a bit different. So I'll be talking about the BAL season 5. So last week, last weekend, I can even say on Friday, we got to see the BAL conferences. They got released, and we saw the dates in which the tournaments in respective conferences are going to tip off. So we have Rabat. It will be in the first week of April, 5th to 13th April. Then Dakar, that's the for Rabat is the Kalari Conference. Then in the Sahara Conference, we have, it'll be tipping off in Dakar. You have the teams there. Then we have it will be at the end of April, start of May. Then in Kigali, that's where the Nile Conference is, and I'll be monitoring that so much because the Nairobi City Thunder will be playing there. So I saw this list of the three conferences there, and there are a couple of things that went through my mind. So, and I'm in this video, I'm going to go ahead and go off the cuff and explain a few things that I saw that kind of like rubbed me off the wrong way, and they just sound a bit off. So, the Kalahari Conference. This is the conference that was introduced in BAL Season 4, and you got to see it being hosted in Pretoria, and rightfully so because the Kalahari is at the southern part of Africa. And to get things to perspective, Kalahari is at the southern part of Africa, and to be specific, South Africa was the venue that was utilized, and it was the debut venue for the venue in Pretoria. Then we have the Sahara Conference. So the Sahara is at the Sahel region of Africa. So the countries at the Sahel are supposed to be, there. Then you have the Nile Conference that is at the Nile. And its originating point is, from East Africa all the way to Egypt, Cairo, Egypt. So in the last edition of the BAL, that was BAL season 4, we got to see the Kalahari Conference, happen. And one thing that was funny to me was the list of countries, not only the countries, but the list of teams that were there. And somewhat, I really didn't understand it because if you look at the map, it's the conferences should represent Jesus would represent the countries the way they are in the map. So if the country is at this part, it's supposed to be covered in this conference. If it's this part of Africa, let's say for example in the southern part of Africa, that's supposed to be the Sahara Conference. If it's at the Sahel region, that's the Kalahari. Kalahari is at the southern part. At the Sahel region, that's where we're supposed to be having the Sahara Conference, and at the Nile region, where the River Nile is, that's where you're supposed to have the Nile Conference. So it was very conflicting. In BAL season 4, we had FS de Rabat playing in the Kalahari Conference. Mind you, FS de Rabat is a team that comes and it hails from Morocco. So rightfully, that team should be in the Sahara Conference. But in this case, you're seeing them in the Kalahari Conference. And it's very weird because I know BAL is doing this because they want to make sure that South Africa is the playoff venue. So they would rather move the Sahara Conference, not the Sahara, but the Kalahari Conference to the northern part of Africa, which is originally not there. And make it a whole mess. And that's the same thing that they did. The Burundi played in the Kalahari Conference last year with Dynamo. They only played for one game before the whole scandal, but you could see that there's a problem in terms of zoning these states and these teams that are going to play there, and it doesn't make any sense because if you look at it, let's take the case of the Kalahari Conference right now, as you can see on the screen. So FIOS Derabat, that's a team that is in the northern part of Africa. That's Morocco. River Hoopers should be in the Sahara Conference, and Stade Malien from Mali should be in the Sahara Conference. So seeing Petro de Luanda there at the Sahara Conference, and should be at the Kalahari Conference if they were following the map well. But anyway, the BL somewhat follow another line of thinking or logic, because if they're going to keep doing this every single year, then why do these names, why do you mix up the teams and they're supposed to be representing that region? So I mean, it's funny because the only teams that I'm seeing that are respecting this thing is I'm seeing the Nderitu Thunder and APR from Rwanda, and the reason as to why that is because the Nile Conference is there. If the playoffs were set in Kigali, you'd see the Nderitu Thunder being scattered to the Kalahari Conference, not the Sahara, but the Kalahari. You could see APR scattered in the Sahara Conference like the way they did last year. So it's crazy. So these things are just names. But anyway, it is what it is. I mean, the makers of this thing, they are the ones who brought in J. Cole in the first season. So there's a lot that is crazy, because I've covered the BL for 4 years now, for 4 seasons. And I mean, this is something that I feel like low-key people do not pay a lot of mind to it, but it beats the whole sense and the whole logic as to why you zone teams, because the whole thing with conferencing and having conferences is to zone the teams, to make sure that they represent a certain region. But if they keep doing this and they keep, jumbling it up, it really loses the whole essence of even saying that they are, teams coming from the Kalahari Conference. Because if you look at the Kalahari Conference, the southern part of Africa, but you're having a team from the northern part and the Sahel region congregating there. So what does that communicate? I mean, BAL are just doing things haphazardly. I mean, remember, this is the same BAL brought in J. Cole. They tried to cloud chase him. They are the nation that have been jumbling about teams. I know last year they tried to make sure that APR qualifies, but they didn't. I mean, it's funny, and this is the same. This is the same BAL that took the BAL Combine for season 2 to Paris instead of doing it in Africa. I think they got a lot of backlash until they did it back to back in Morocco. But anyway, I mean, it's crazy, and I'll be keenly observing all these teams, and I'm looking forward to BAL and the games happening, because with this season, it looks like it's going to be quite interesting. Hopefully, we cannot have like a lot of predictable games, but the way they have mixed up everything, we might be in for a very good BAL season 5. And also, just to mention as a side note, the MBB team from South Africa, they were brought into this Nile Conference and this BAL season 5, not because they had a good record or they had a very good outing in the road to BAL, but just because they have a very good venue that will be hosting the playoffs. So if one thing that I've noticed with the BL, there's favoritism when it comes down to teams that are hosting the venue. They will do everything in their power to have a home team at their venue, because if you take a step back and look at it, you will see that every single country that as a club team representing, you'll see they're playing at their home floor. As you can see in the Kalahari Conference, FIOS Derabat is the host team, and they are the host club team, so they are going to headline the Kalahari Conference. In the Sahara Conference, which is in Dakar, for them, you'll be having the ASVCD, where they went ahead and signed Ater Majok and Abdullahi Haruna, which I'm going to make a separate video talking about them. Then in the Nile conference, we have APR from Rwanda. I'm not sure what REG and Patriots are doing, because man, this is the second straight year we are seeing APR, and APR is such a they're a team that has no future when it comes to like playing competitive basketball. I don't know why they keep winning the RBL every single time, but anyway, it is what it is. So the home club team will be headlining the conference. So that is one thing that I noticed. But I will go ahead and be making such type of videos talking about it. I know this week the content has been slow, especially the long form content, but I will make sure to give you guys more videos on this, especially when it comes down to talking about matters BL. So like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.